Our keynote speaker joined the WBAL team as the president and general manager in January of 2011. Coming to us first from North Carolina, he was no stranger to community outreach and could often be found at community fund drives, blood drives, and the North Carolina Triad Flight of Honor, which recognized local veterans. But was Baltimore ready? We weren't sure if this Milwaukee native could handle the demands that Maryland puts on our partners for the LETR and Special Olympics. But our fears were soon dispelled when he braved the chilly temperatures and joined us at the Polar Bear Plunge. And we knew we had a winner. Our speaker did not stop at simply attending one of our events. He quickly made his commitment known to his staff and the WBAL partners that the community outreach done by Special Olympics and the law enforcement torch run were a priority. This gentleman's media experience has prepared him well for the unique partnership that LETR and Special Olympics have with our media partners. His outgoing personality and commitments to the community make him and his team a winning combination for the Maryland LETR and Special Olympics programs. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Joerres, President and General Manager of the WBAL-TV team. Thank
you, buddy. All right, let's just go on the record right away as saying, Michael, if I get a ticket and you're the one that's writing it today, I have a problem with you, but I like you right now. All right, good morning, everybody. As Michael said, my name is Joerres. I'm the president and general manager of WBAL-TV, the local news you probably watched when you woke up this morning. Raise your hand. For those of you that didn't, you're going to be meeting me in the back of the room. You get a second chance at 5, 6, and 11 o'clock tonight. Don't make a mistake. I'm thrilled to be here to honor everybody and to talk to you about the 2015 Torch Run kickoff event. However, I must admit, I'm slightly concerned when I saw the agenda a few weeks ago. I don't know how it's fair that I'm uncomfortably scheduled closely to the predetermined break. And I have to speak in front of you guys, who some of you are actually carrying weapons. So, Jim, we need to talk after this as well. That'll be a different part of the room. But I'd be remiss if I didn't start by thanking each and every law enforcement officer here for your tireless efforts, your unselfish efforts, and your willingness to fight to protect our community on a daily basis while you keep all of us safe. Thank you. You put your lives on line every day for people you do not know. Impressive is an understatement. I thank you all, and I think you all deserve a round of applause. Evidence of the willingness to honor the badge was reported this morning as 2 law enforcement officers gave their lives in the line of duty, one in San Jose, California, and one in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Let's take a moment to honor those individuals with a moment of silence. Thank you. I'm honored to be here this morning to share a few thoughts regarding our partnership with Special Olympics in Maryland, specifically through the eyes of the Polar Bear Plunge. I also want to share some observations regarding the similarities between law enforcement and media and our collaborative efforts and what those efforts can do positive for the community. At the end, maybe we have some time for a little Q&A as well. So let's get started. First, I'd like to share a little bit of the history of WBAL-TV 11. WBAL is one of the strongest NBC affiliates in the entire country. We're owned by the Hearst Corporation. Yes, Patty Hearst, for those of you that are over 28 would know. I'm in that group. But the company was started by William Randolph Hearst in March of 1887 in San Francisco, California, as a newspaper company. Slowly but surely, William Randolph Hearst moved east, fighting Joseph Pulitzer in a media battle for newspaper supremacy. In 1948, they went into the television business, buying WBAL, and thus our TV station was born as the first television station that Hearst owned. BAL is truly a special place now in our 68th year of broadcasting. We are the most watched news station in Baltimore. We're the partner of the Maryland Lottery, the Baltimore Ravens, and it goes without saying, the partner of the Special Olympics Maryland. When Jim and his team at Special Olympics Maryland approached me to speak to this group, I had an immense feeling of excitement right away. I love this partnership. It's just, the Polar Bear Plunge is one of my favorite days of the year. You see, Jim and his crew, they are like family to us. WBAL-TV and our sister radio stations, WBAL-AM and 98 Rock, also participate. In our business, we use the word partnership very loosely, but I can assure you that we're proud to call ourselves partners with Special Olympics in Maryland. That partnership exudes through the entire building, through every hallway. The partnership is one that all of our employees embrace. We're very, very proud of it. It's one of our calling cards, quite frankly. As you may know, the Federal Communications Commission grants us our license. It allows us to broadcast throughout our viewing and listening areas with the expectation that we broadcast in a responsible and forthright manner, giving back to the communities that we serve. Honestly, it's one of the most exciting parts of my job is the give back. The news coverage, the stuff, the daily grind, that's what we do. But the give back and creating smiles and creating opportunities for underserved individuals, it's the best thing we can do. The Polar Bear Plunge is exactly what that's all about. We do it out of pure commitment to a cause that all of us believe in so deeply. The event is like no other. So I'll give you a little perspective about the Polar Bear Plunge. The day I was introduced as President and General Manager of BAL, it was a mere 15 days prior to the plunge that January. The outgoing General Manager was being elevated to our corporate offices in New York, and our then chairman of the company was there to introduce me to the 250 employees in Baltimore City. Out of the blue, one of our DJs at 98 Rock suggested, rather aggressively I may add, that we actually hand off the television station live on TV during the Polar Bear Plunge. So baptism by fire brought a whole new meaning to me. I found myself jumping into the Chesapeake Bay on a Saturday morning. It was very frigid, but very fulfilling. The only loser in that whole story was the individual that had to sit next to me on my plane ride back to North Carolina that morning. And I had to explain to him, you can't shower. So I'm a little wet. We're flying over the Chesapeake. I'm like, I gotta get this out right now. I was just in that about 3 hours ago. The lady looks at me, she's like, what are you talking about? And I explained the Polar Bear Plunge. She's like, every community should do that. What a great event. And thus, my heart was warmed. How the plunge works and why. So a full month prior to the plunge, our television stations and radio stations run an aggressive on-air campaign, public service announcements that you may see, encouraging people to show up at Sandy Point Park, all while ensuring that the money raised stays here in Maryland and benefits Special Olympics. The anchors that front the spots offer instant credibility, and the money and the people start to flow in. Jim and his team, along with some other athletes and representatives of the state police, appear on TV and radio the weeks leading up to the plunge, bringing awareness to the upcoming event. On plunge day, this is one of my favorite things. So we pull into Sandy Point about 5 a.m. It's cold and dark, and for those of you that have been there, it's a gauntlet of state police, right? So it's an interesting experience because a few thoughts go through my head. I give the obligatory waves, nods, and as any civilian in my position would think, it's, oh, am I speeding? What is the speed limit in a state park? Have I upped my tags? Are my plates current? Am I a criminal? I don't even know. It's the weirdest experience because you're like, geez, am I doing this right? But quickly, the panic subsides, and it's a great experience when you pull into that parking lot and you start to see the activity, the hustle and the bustle. Everything starts to build towards a great day. Witnessing the Super Plunge is an incredible experience as celebrities, elected officials, and of course, athletes themselves jump into the bay every hour on the hour for 24 straight hours. The actual acknowledgement of this group is terrific. On the 24th hour, they do it live on television. Watching our production crews film this and create this live television is an experience in itself. Later that day, our helicopter hovers over the bay, thousands of people getting ready to jump into the bay. It's just terrific television, and it makes a statement, and it hopefully inspires more to come in the next year and participate. While all this is taking place at Sandy Point, we have a phone bank at the TV station, and there's nothing better than the feeling of you know the phones are ringing, and you know on the other end of the line, that individual is there saying, I want to help, I want to support, I want to give back, I want to do my part. To us, checkbox, mark, mission accomplished. Getting to know these athletes over the years and watching their development of his or her skills is also another benefit. Adam Hayes is a standout example. Whether it's his stories about cycling or downhill skiing, Adam is an individual that never ceases to amaze me. The funds we raise help Adam's dreams become a reality year after year. Adam's a super plunger, and he's become one of the faces of Special Olympics and of the polar bear plunge. And I'm proud to call Adam a friend. We were talking on the side, and I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm taping this, and I have all this editing system." It's an editing system that WBAL would have. It's impressive stuff, and I've invited him to the station to maybe have a little fun with us one day. So every moment of the plunge is special. When Jim first became CEO 3 years ago, I remember him saying how amazed he was at the support that BAL-AM-TV and 98 Rock give to the event. But really, it's the TV and the radio stations that are the lucky ones. The plunge is now in its 20th year. We're approaching the 20th year. Not many things in television last for 20 years. So I did a little research for fun. Remember the drama ER on NBC? That was only on TV for 15 years. MASH and Cheers, again, sorry to the 28-year-olds, 11 years on TV. Friends made it for 10 years, and Seinfeld, the classic, only made it for 9. So anything in our business that lasts 20 years is considered a huge, huge success. And of course, the polar bear plunge has stood the test of time. It all started in January of '97. A small group jumped into the Chesapeake Bay in an effort to raise awareness for Special Olympics. Quickly became a news story. The media picks up on it. One of our local reporters, Rob Roblin, decided to jump in as well, and therefore the plunge gained a lot of attention and since has grown into the largest fundraiser in the state of Maryland, something we're very proud to participate in. As we approach the 20th year of the plunge, we look to this anniversary as an opportunity to grow this event and take it to the next level, which is always a generic statement. Let's take it to the next level. What does that mean? Well, our goal is to make the milestone year the most impactful year ever. We'll rely on our partners at Special Olympics, the state police, to make this goal a reality. Many people ask why we pour so much resource into this event, and quite frankly, the answer is simple. We have a responsibility to serve our community, and the impact is clear year after year. The smiles on the athletes' faces, the actual results are positive all the time. Without the commitment and collaboration of the staff at Special Olympics and the Maryland State Police, this event would not be nearly as successful as it is. Period, end of sentence. Which leads me to my next point, the parallels of the mission of media and law enforcement. It's incredible. Think about this, 24 hours ago, we're waking up, we're hearing about a lead story with a German plane that went down in the French Alps, assuming all 150 people had passed away. Last weekend, on Route 50, a horrific car accident that resulted in ultimately three people perishing. Rarely is the news positive. If you think about what we do, we have to report on a lot of negativity. So when we are able to engage in something like this, we can bring smiles to a lot of people's faces. We keep viewers safe and informed and in a responsible way. Ultimately, some media outlets choose to sensationalize news, ultimately putting the media in a bad light. And it's unfortunate. I can assure you that at WBAL-TV and WBAL-AM, both of our TV and radio news operations, we operate in the fair and most balanced way possible. The pressure that social media has placed on our industry is intense. While some rush to be first, we put an emphasis on being correct and complete. That pressure is not an excuse to be irresponsible. Our mission is to serve the public in a responsible way. The same can be said for law enforcement. Officers face split-second decisions that civilians cannot imagine. Think about the Mall in Columbia shooting last year. To be able to respond as fast as those officers did, clearing a mall on a Saturday morning during a horrific event is unimaginable to anybody outside of this industry. Go back to the Boston bombing in 2013. I vividly remember that happening in our newsroom. We own a TV station in Boston. The next week, the cover of Sports Illustrated had 2 police officers with their guns drawn, protecting the public, putting themselves in harm's way. They had no idea what was going on. Civilians cannot imagine what happens in those scenarios. I think there's thousands of more that go unreported, and those are the true acts of heroism. So again, the mission is serving the public and keeping citizens safe. Thank you for doing what you do, because we can't imagine what you do to put yourself in that line of fire. I live up in Hunt Valley, and I remember vividly leaving the polar bear plunge this year and thinking about the shared responsibilities that law enforcement and media have. And I also thought about the collaborative power of law enforcement and media and the fact that the two parties together are truly formidable. Together, we can certainly make a difference, as evidenced by the polar bear plunge and countless other examples. In fact, aside from the polar bear plunge, another terrific example of our collaborative efforts arise every time snow hits the ground in Maryland. Whether it was the big storm that we had in the beginning of March or the threat of snow, it's amazing how we react and overreact. But there are countless times where Greg Shipley's on our air warning people to stay off the roads. We provide the conduit, Greg provides the expertise, and ultimately the whole goal is to keep people off the roads, keep people safe. If people heed our advice or the experts' advice, we hope to give you an easier day that day. Those same collaborative efforts can help the mission of Special Olympics. As I understand it, there are over 140 law enforcement agencies participating in this event. I challenge each person in this room to spread the word. Use social media to get the word out. Do not discount the power of Facebook and Twitter. We need to make a push to further generate awareness in the community among individuals with intellectual disabilities who are prospective athletes. Go back to your office, spread the word, and encourage more participation. Could you imagine if each person in this room brought one more person into the torch run? What if we did that the next year and then the next year after? You hear the phrase organic growth? That defines it. The answer is simple. We will become one of the best examples in the entire country. My pledge to each of you is this. When I go back to the TV station today, our 155,000 Facebook fans for WBAL-TV will know about the torch run and what it means to this community. And after that, Jim and I are going to meet, and we're going to continue to promote this through our social media efforts on your behalf to help you grow. Some advice to the veterans in the room: don't let the newbies bring more people to the table than yourselves. Advice to the newbies: it's okay to beat the vets. Do it with style. Act like you've been there before. Trust me, it's important. So in closing, I want to thank you for the invitation to attend this terrific event. All of us in this room have the ability to make an impact on the lives of other people. Let's continue to collaborate and make a difference each day. Let's continue to help these athletes stay on top of the world. Thank you.